Hello, little and big listeners. Today we're reading some Emma's Asshole Reddit stories, specifically centered around campus and university. So let's start. The first title is Emma's Asshole for not sending my notes to a friend who skipped almost all lectures. 20M currently taking a pretty demanding proof-based math course at university. Before the semester started, a friend of mine and I agreed to enroll in a class together. We initially planned that we'd both attend class, take notes, and share them so we could help each other along. But after the semester started, he began to skip most of the lectures. I attended all lectures and took detailed notes every week since the lecturer did not provide them, which took me a lot of time and effort. My friend didn't really contribute any notes since he weren't there. He even claims that he didn't need to attend classes because he can just get help from me if needed. As the exams are coming up, he asked me to send all of my notes for the course. I said I wasn't comfortable doing that because our agreement was based on mutual effort, not me covering the entire course alone. And I feel it would be unfair since he didn't really put much effort into it. I offered to help explain topics or study together instead. I also said I'm fine with sharing a part of it, but not the entirety. He's being upset now that and told some of our mutual friends that I'm being petty for not sending my own notes to him, putting me in a very difficult and awkward situation. I was asked her for refusing to share my notes. Okay, he's not putting you into a very difficult and awkward situation. He's putting himself in a difficult and awkward situation. And honestly, it's consequences of his own actions. He didn't attend any classes. He just relied on someone to take notes. And I think it's also not only a stupid move, but also a very risky move because OP could himself just decide not to attend the classes and what they would both do. Exactly, just fail their exam. There's an edit. It's not like he has a valid reason to skip the classes. I frequently saw him just partying around and posting on social media while doing lecture time. Yeah, OP's friend is an asshole and OP is actually a very good friend. Not exactly a good friend. I wouldn't like he doesn't help his friend. Okay, OP doesn't want to help his friend because they agreed on mutual help. And I get it. I myself had a friend who always took notes, and whenever someone asked said friend to copy their notes, she would just say no. And like people who asked for notes were like, "What does it cost you? You wrote it already. It doesn't cost you anything." But it's more about effort you put into writing it while the lecture is on, and some people just not appreciating that effort because, come on, it's just notes. You already did the job. What's the big deal? If it's not a big deal to them, they can write their own notes. It's more about the effort put in, and appreciation. If the friend, I don't know, offered something to the OP in exchange for notes, I would understand that it would be at least some partial trade and mutual help. But since the friend didn't, or at least it isn't said so here, I don't think the friend even considering like giving anything. Then I don't think that OP is an asshole. So yes, OP is not the asshole. A few of the comments. It sounds like he planned on taking advantage of you from the start, not the asshole. Yes, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Not the asshole. Tell him as soon as he sends his half of the notes, so you can cross compare them, he will send yours, not before. I think that OP and the friend both know that each of them knows that the friend didn't attend the lecture, so it's kind of a mute point to point it out. So yeah. And another commenter, not the asshole. Guy didn't put the effort in. He needed somebody but himself to blame. That's all. And after offering the olive branch of study together, he still declined. I'd just sit back with my popcorn and watch the aftermath, and he chose to FAFO. I'm not sure what it means. Maybe someone will educate me later. Anyway, I also think that the friend is stupid because he was offered to study together, and if it was me and I was that kind of an asshole, I would agree to a study session and then just photograph all the notes. I would just take photos of them, or maybe even take them and copy them on a printer, on a scanner, and then print. I don't know if this friend just didn't agree to this, so The friend is just stupid and arrogant and an asshole. Let's move to the next story. I believe this title will be extremely relatable to a lot of students. Am I the asshole for reporting my roommate for cheating on an online test? Hi, my one roommate is taking a class that allows him to do the test online. During this online test, he looks up answers and it makes me think he is an idiot and freeloading. Granted, this class has nothing to do with his major, but still he shouldn't cheat. I have since reported him but have yet to hear back. You know why you have yet to hear back? Because nobody cares about that. It's not like the main subject for his major, he doesn't need it, so no one cares. Like when I was in college, there was this one professor who was like, "Okay, guys, you won't even be tested on this officially, so I don't know, treat this as a free time, like study for your next classes, just do whatever, and it'll figure something out for your like final grade. Maybe we'll do one test." But it was never something official, so our professor just didn't care about it. It was kind of like this online tests. Anyway, I think this guy is an asshole because, come on, online test, everyone knows you're cheating, and no one cares about that. Some of the comments. You are the asshole. Literally everyone does this with online tests. Most of them are open note anyway. Hope you replied, open note doesn't need cheat away. And that comment replied, actually, that's exactly what it means. Yes, yes, not the commenter. You're the asshole in my opinion. If he wants to cheat, let him. You just backstabbed him. Hope you replied, we're just roommates, we aren't friends. I don't see how it's such a backstabbing thing to do. Ah, come on, this guy is such a nice person to be around. Just, you always want to be around this person. Okay, so another commenter. You're an asshole, huge asshole. You're putting his entire life in jeopardy. That's fucking money right there. Who cares if someone cheats? That's not going to affect him in the long run. You will. But he replied, it doesn't affect me, but he's not going to learn in life if it goes unchecked. Um, Okay, is a subject that he doesn't even need it for whatever he's studying. Why do you think that's important to him? Come on, it's his business to cheat, okay? If he cheats and it later becomes a problem for him, okay, that was his decision to do, but not when you are like actively trying to, I don't know, make him get in trouble. You're trying to get him in trouble, so I don't know. This guy's an asshole. Let's move to the next story. Next title is Am I the asshole for refusing to switch rooms with my roommate? Hey guys, I'll try to fit as much detail into this as possible without going overboard. So, in second year university, I moved into a house with my roommates. I got a shit room while one of my other roommates, who we'll call X, got a great room. We all also paid the same rent. After that year, we were moving to a different house, and because I had such a bad room, I was guaranteed an okay room. While he and my other roommates drew between a bad, okay, and a good room, Iggs got the bedroom and at first said he was going to sublet and live somewhere else, but eventually sucked it up and stayed in his room. Now a year has gone by and Iggs demanded a better room. One of my roommates is moving out, so his room is available. However, X doesn't want his room because it is in the basement. We also paid the same rent in third year, but decided that this next year we will pay separate based on your room, since we're all equal now, which I have no problem doing. We were at a stalemate for a while, so we decided to spin a wheel to see whose room X would get. Before the spin, I said that I was not in favor of the spin and felt we didn't need to accommodate him just because he wants a different room, and that it wasn't fair to force someone to take apart all their stuff and change rooms. However, to be fair, I didn't see an alternative at the time, so we went through with it, and it landed on me. After some time, I measured my stuff, bed frame, and desk, and noticed it wouldn't even fit in the room I would be going to. So, to try to be fair, I offered one of my other roommates, whose room is his amazing money, to go into the washroom and let X move into their room since it was bigger. My roommate agreed, so I thought we made a point where everyone can be happy. I then have two more rooms, X gets a bigger room, and my other roommate gets money for changing rooms in my place. However, after bringing this up to X, he said he didn't want to do it since the room is in the basement, in quotation, and wanted my room instead. I explained that I don't think it's fair to make me take apart all my stuff and move it to somewhere it might not fit when I'm already comfortable in my room. And so now there is a situation where everyone can be happy and he's not accepting it. I'm refusing to switch rooms. Am I the asshole? This kinda, I just think that the needs to move out. I mean, come on, it was 4 years ago, so maybe he moved out, but I think OP needs to move out because no one is going to be happy. X doesn't want to go into the basement room, and I honestly wouldn't want to either. No one wants to go into the bedroom. I don't know why. Maybe why it's bad. Perhaps it's just small or something. I understand why OP doesn't want to go to the worst room in the building because he's already lived in the worst room. He doesn't want to go back to those days. X got a taste of good life with his big room. It's like the best. I think it was mentioned in the post, and he doesn't really want to go to a shit room. So, I mean, I can understand everyone here, and I just think that's like one of them has to move out, either OP or X, because the third guy that lives in basement, he doesn't really care about all of that. So yeah, I think they just need to all change places or change roommates. I don't know. There's a few comments. Not the asshole, do not enable X. You offered the solution, he refused. It's the end. In your room. Why were you going to pay your other roommate more to accommodate X? Yeah, I don't know. Someone also commented, you're the asshole. Oh, you posted this already and clearly didn't get the answer you wanted. You agreed to the spin, so you must honor the spin. Yes, and it, I don't. Opie didn't exactly agree to the spin, but he in the end decided to no to go ahead with the spin, and his room is sadly got chosen. But yeah, I don't know what to say here. Uh, People are saying that this has been your poster like a few times already, so I think the OP is just trying to form some sympathy. But most people are saying that like Zopi is an asshole. For some reason, the flair here is that Zopi is not the asshole. I mean, I don't really see assholes here. I can understand the point of view where you don't want to go to the like worst room or some like worse rooms that you had before, and I understand wanting to live in comfort. And it says that not everyone in that house can live with comfort. So I think the solution would be to just move places, find yourself new roommates or find a new place to live in. I don't know what to say here. I mean, it's a sad situation because they have to split the rent. Yes, I don't know what to say here. Let's move to the next story. Am I the asshole for eating my roommate's groceries? I F25 share an apartment with my roommate Hannah F25. I work from home while she's gone most of the days throughout the week. I cook almost all of my meals since I don't leave the house as much and I want to save money. Hannah eats mostly fast food even when she's home. We both go grocery shopping about once or twice a month. Hannah usually buys food that are perishable and expensive name brands. I'm more of a sustainable shopper, frozen foods, non-perishable, store-brand. My groceries usually last me about a month. Hannah buys food that will likely expire within 2 weeks. Hannah spends most of her time with her boyfriend and leaves home sometimes weeks at a time. For months, she would go shopping and let the food go bad, which ultimately ending up throwing away hundreds of dollars of groceries because she either opted for fast food or was never home to cook. So I started eating her food. I usually wait until food are near or a few days after their expiration date because she has thing about bacteria and germs. So I know by then she won't eat them. Well, a week ago she confronted me about eating her food. However, her point was that even though she knew she was going to eat the food, she would try to throw them away and me eat them because she bought them and I didn't ask for her permission. I apologized and told her that I would ask next time, but she stuck to her initial point. I had experienced food insecurity before, and it physically pains me to see her throw away so much food so often. Am I the asshole? Yes, would be you're sadly the asshole. Why sadly? Because I understand the point of hating the food being thrown away. Like sometimes I have something perished and I feel bad for throwing it away because it's still the food that could be used, but I didn't, and it like gone bad. And one time I think I was eating out with someone. We just ordered a takeout. We took pizza home. There were just like two slices left of pizza that we didn't really like because it was too spicy for all of us. And the friend was like, "So should we just throw it away?" I was like, "No. Why are you even asking that? Why would you throw away two good slices of pizza? Yes, it's spicy, but when it like cools down, it will probably be like more manageable. We'll eat it then, but don't throw it away." And he looked at me like I was weird. So anyway, I understand the insecurity of throwing food away, but I also understand the roommate because OP didn't ask the roommate if they can eat their groceries. If they asked, the roommate would probably, yeah, you can just like, if I don't eat it and it's like one day, like it will expire soon, sure, go ahead. I understand from, roommate standpoint because OP could just start taking more advantage for their own, and it's a lot of money. Maybe the roommate Hannah doesn't really count money that much, but it's still kinda slimy in my opinion. Anyway, comments. You're the asshole. This could possibly not have become a problem at all if we had just asked permission first before eating someone else's food that you didn't pay for. She might have been fine with it if you had asked. She sure isn't fine with it now. Your deciding stealing was okay has put you in your bad books. It's you in her bad books. It's not her fault. Your excuses for taking what isn't yours don't justify it. It's not your roommate's problem how you grew up or how you feel about food now. You didn't buy it, don't eat it without permission. So maybe this AITA situation would most likely never have come about if the person involved had just talked to each other. Yes, Opie replied. I have expressed my issues with her about her wastefulness before. We have come across the issue of her expired groceries and the needed leftovers clutter in the fridge. She doesn't really respond to my text or answers my calls, so I thought I would even get an answer if I had been asking for permission. I did not think of it as stealing first, but I totally understand why I'm the asshole in this situation. I just don't understand how someone could be so knowingly wasteful. Um, Comment replied, yet you say you both live in the same house. Even though your relation is often away, you must cross paths sometimes. You could have asked her in person before eating her food, as in an overall policy. Is it okay with you if I eat food you bought that's about to go off or not? You come across judgmental of the expensive, perishable food she chooses to buy as opposed to what you clearly consider your superior choices AJ cheaper. It's not your business what she spends on her food or what kind it is. You clearly have no problem with eating it. Repair replied, I didn't mean to come across as judgmental. It was just for context. I just wanted you all to see how wasteful she was. So I guess I have been passing judgment on the choice of choosing the expensive ones and then letting it all go to waste. For example, she will only eat organic brown eggs. A few weeks ago, she bought a carton of eggs cooked about 3 and never touches them again. She went shopping the other day and bought a brand new carton of eggs and cooked those instead of using the old eggs because she deemed them bad. So now we have two almost full cartons of eggs in our refrigerator. One that she knows she won't eat, but now I almost feel like she's baiting me. I haven't eaten any of her food since the confrontation. Yes, I think the roommate is baiting OP, but... Okay, a comment reply. You seem obsessed with her and her choices, and now say what she does is all about you. Baiting you? Are you serious? I think she thinks about your emotions around her food as much as you think. And besides, you obviously hate her. Move out or get a new roommate. You saw it on Hinge. Hope you replied. I'm sorry, the baiting part was kind of a joke. I already have accepted that I am the asshole in this situation and have since apologized to her and assured her it won't happen again. My one and only issue with her is that she is wasteful. Wasn't that we get along? I just didn't see what I was doing as wrong, but I totally understand now. Thanks, Internet. Okay, this might warrant a whole different than my asshole post, but I understand OP kinda. Because, look, if I was considered a species, I would be probably considered an invasive species. Because unless someone says no to me, I don't understand what I'm doing is wrong. LP is, I understand that there was an asshole. It's a little sad because, yes, I think that perishable food will take up the space in the fridge, and if the roommate is so often, absent from their flat, I think a lot of food just kind of stuck in the fridge, and roommate now, like OP, now can't even throw away the perished food because it's not their food. They already have the problem with roommate about their food. But the problem in itself is not fixed. OP was doing what they could to stop, the perishable food to remain in the fridge for longer than it should. But now they can't do anything with it now, even just throw away instead of Hannah, their roommate, because they now can't touch food unless they want to bring the old issue back. So yes, it's extremely sad in my opinion, but they're an asshole. Anyway, I think this will be all for today. So I hope you all stay hydrated and that you all liked my video. Comment if you want to hear about other subreddits. And for now, bye bye, cuties.